doubt
it's
about it.
very, very tough. Exactly.
But this fiber that you're talking about, this is leadership, and all these teams are award winning, right? You're talking about these amazing people, award winning teams. What is the magic of the leadership that gets these, builds these teams? I mean, you don't do the work necessarily to get the awards, but you get the awards, and so it has to be some magical stuff
Well,
that's going
first
on.
of all, yes, I've been told by my group that I'm a good leader, but I don't feel like I'm a good leader. I feel like they're so easy to lead. And all I have to do is once in a while just look at them and say, good job. And they just keep doing what they're doing. I don't make them do this. They're natural. We have a very dedicated group of counselors who are talented. They know how to do research. They know how to look under rocks for opportunities. They care about each other. I have a daily huddle call, and I'm considered the good news girl. Everybody's like, well, this is happening in this department. And I'm always like, 3 people got placed. And they expect that from me. When I send an email out to the group and I'm like, give me some good news, guys, they never give good news about themselves. Rowena will tell me about Eeyore. Eeyore will tell me something that Elvis did. Elvis will tell me something that Rosa did. And I'm like, can you give me some news with you in it? That's how much they support and applaud each other. So they do that naturally. They're caring. It's all about the students. I mean, I have to tell them more often than not, why are you answering an email at 2 a.m? Well, I was up. And I'm like, I don't care. You need to find work-life balance. But that's who they are. And they were like that on the ground. So it's not like they've changed remote. This is the same staff. So, and I've had someone ask me today, how do you track their productivity now that you're not on site? And I said, I don't have to track anything. I trust my staff regardless of where they were, on the moon, in their office, or in their living room. You trust your staff. You hire people who do the job well. And then you sit back and say, thank God I have them. But I'm not going to say, what new ROIs do I need to come up with because we're in a pandemic? That would be the last thing that I would do at this time. Before I call someone and say, I haven't seen your tracking report, I'd say, are you having a good day? Because that's what you're supposed to do. I think that's what it is. We all care about each other. Genuinely.
Yeah. I mean, that really speaks a lot in the way you talked about it. I mean, you spoke about them, you don't spoke about, it's like a lot of selfless people that are doing a job that they're passionate about, and they really care about people. And it's really hard to find that in a group. I mean, you can find
Yes.
1 or 2 people, but to find a whole group like that's huge. So you're blessed, and they're blessed to have you. They're blessed to have you. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. So, you inspire these people every single day, but let's talk about some of the big ideas that help these women launch today. Like, what does the success formula look like for people, these students that you feel are launching successfully?
Well, I think the one thing that we feel that women need to be now more than ever very creative. They need to be fearless. They can't be afraid to try something new and to let the whole world know what they're doing. And we do a lot of that at Berkeley. We've had some really strong events that have highlighted the women, kind of showcase the things that they can do. We hosted a New York City Minority and Women-Owned Business Commissioner event, and it gave the students an ability to hang around with key officials from the city of New York and see if they can open their own business. We had women's entrepreneurship every week for the past 6 years rather, and a lot of unbelievable women attend and are on panels. There's, of course, Women's History Month. We have a Women's Empowerment Club. The women at Berkeley are very strong, and I've been told when I first began that the 4 brothers who own Berkeley College appreciate and really want to hire strong, verbal women who are not afraid to take chances. And I thought that was very enlightened, and I love that idea. And we see it every day. Our female students are very encouraging to each other. I remember back in high school, we were horrible. I was so glad when I think about it that we don't have Facebook back in 1973. We would have tortured each other. But here, it seems that the women are supportive, that they go out of their way to talk about each other's events and make each other go to each other's events and just really support one another. And I think women need to do more of that. They need to share content and and applaud each other. Just because you're doing great doesn't mean the girl next to you is not going to do great too. And you'll do even better by helping her along. And I think men have always done that. And for some reason, women are always in competition. And I find that changing now, and that's very encouraging to me.
It really is. I mean, I grew up, I was launching out of college in the 80s, and there were a lot of mean girls in retail at that time. Super mean. And there was not this feeling of support that there is now. And it's like this quote I saw, and I love this quote. It's like, real queens straighten each other's crowns.
Wow.
Like there's enough, like what you said, there's enough room. There's enough room for all of us. There's, first of all, at this point, men still rule the world, but there's enough room for us to all be amazing. I totally agree with you. And I love that, that you have that supportive environment. The Women's Empowerment Club, like what kind of things do they do?
I think they have a lot of events. They take a lot of, they do like the breast cancer. They'll do fundraising for that. They'll do mental health. They'll feature poets. They'll do arts, and there's a whole list of them. I'm trying to think. I feel like it's been so long since I've been on campus. What did they do last? But they'll have big sales. They try to get involved in things that are going to be important for the entire college, not just for women. But they invite in organizations and companies that would have job openings, that can offer mentorships, partnerships, teach women how to start their own business. Then they often, I've walked by classrooms where they have presentations where they're teaching each other how to speak in a platform environment where they can learn platform skills in a friendly space. If you're about to give a presentation in class, I've seen that they've done it with each other first. So I'm sure there's going to be, for all I know, there's a lot going on remotely. And I'm going to follow up and see what I can let you know about that in an email or a text to see what the Women's Empowerment Group is doing now that they're not on site.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're still connected on Zoom and whatnot. That's awesome, though. I mean, that's awesome. That's actually a group. I adore that. So I feel like you and I are sisters from another mother. We really are. We're kind of on the same mission.
Are. Oh, and I just found the name of that book is A College Student's Guide to Landing a Great Job. Now, it's very antiquated because it was a while ago. I'm sure it's great, and I don't want to put anybody down, especially on the podcast, but I think he probably has even updated it since then. So I think my point was, if you reach out and offer advice or something nicely, it could end up being a nice thing in return. I always tell students, would you go up to somebody on the street with your dog and say, could you hold my dog? I want to go to lunch. I'm like, of course I wouldn't. I said, then why would you send a resume unsolicited to a recruiter on LinkedIn and expect them to stop everything and read it? Oh, right. So
great analogy.
There's rules. Exactly. The dog and the lunch always gets everybody.
That's perfect. Well, it looks like we have to wrap up, but I asked this of all my guests because I love what comes out. But what is the one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self as you rise through the ranks?
To raise your hand and not be afraid. I would think not a day goes by where I don't think back, God, why didn't I raise my hand that day? Why didn't I do that? Why did I throw out that application? Why didn't I sit in the front instead of the back? Just to take the chance to be afraid, and shockingly enough, you'll find the world continues to revolve and it's all going to be okay.
Yeah, and if they have mentors and people like yourself in the community, it makes it easier. They feel like they have someone to bounce ideas off of. They have someone they could talk to about it. They can have someone to help shape their thoughts, maybe their approach. So
you always need that. I'd be more than happy to talk to whoever wanted to reach out.
I know. I commend you for the work you're doing. I congratulate you guys on everything you're doing. We do have to wrap up. And so what if people want to get in touch with Miss Amy Queen of Career Services Soricelli? What's the best way?
I would think an email. I answer very, very quickly. I'm up at early hours in the morning, and I'm a big writer. So do you want me to give you my email address?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, sure. A as in apple, P as in Peter, S as in Sam, at berkeleycollege.edu. And Berkeley's got a lot of E's. It's BERKELEY, college.edu.
Perfect. And
I'm also on LinkedIn under contacts.
Yes, she is, and she will respond. She does. She's like fire, rapid fire. This girl. I'm here to say, I'm raising my hand, saying yes, she does. All right, Amy. Thanks so much for being with us on the show. Awesome.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Oh, I'm gonna have to have you back. So much to talk about. Okay, listeners, thanks for being with us here in the Hero Whispers. We will see you again next week. Until then, get out there and slay those dragons. Bye-bye.